This is going to be a handstand and its variations that we have. So we have a handstand where we kick up against the wall and a handstand, which looks like this bad boy right here. Now obviously don't just throw yourself into this if you have no idea what your overhead capabilities are. Your arms need to be really, really straight. Your chin should be tucked down. You should know where you're placing your hands. She did it where she just kind of placed her hands and went for it. You can go down where you put your hands on the ground, which looks like this, and then you kick up into it. That's another way of doing it. But the idea is basically that we're going up into a good handstand position. Not too far away from the wall, not too close. That varies depending on your arm length and just kind of who you are in general. The other version of this that we have is a wall climb. A wall climb is a good scale for this just because it gets you similarly upside down, but you can go as far as you feel comfortable. You basically do a push-up and then you walk your hands towards the wall. If you feel comfortable, you can walk all the way till your chest touches the wall, and then you can come back down from there. The other option would be to go not quite as far, so just go a little bit of the ways. So you walk your feet up just that far and then come back down. Just go as far as you feel confident and comfortable. That's an important thing there. Don't go beyond your comfort level unless you have someone around or you know that, hey, I'm pushing it and I've got all these safety pads and things are going there. The other thing that we can do, plank hold. Plank hold, we can do like this. So you got your body out in a plank. You can do a plank hold on your forearms. You can do it in this push-up position. You could even do it in a pike position with your butt up in the air, kind of mimicking how you'd hold your body in a handstand with your pressing into the ground and trying to keep the body and belly nice and tucked there too. So this is another version of that we can see. Handstand and two variations. So this is the hanging L-sit or the hanging tuck hold as our scale for it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move my son out of the way. We're gonna hop up here. That's an invisible pull-up bar that you can't quite see in there. She's gonna hang from the pull-up bar and bring her feet out into an L and hold it there for 21 minutes. Easily, go ahead and relax. A hanging tuck hold is going to be where you do the same thing but bring your knees in. So she's gonna pick it up and then bring her knees up. And ideally we're looking to get basically the knee to come up above the hip angle, so it's basically either flat or just slightly higher than that. Same thing goes for the feet out. You can also do this with one leg out or knees slightly bent, or it can be, ends up even as you get more and more tired, it turns into a C hold where you're like, oh dear God, let me get it up there. But that's what we're looking for that. All right, so this is the wall climb and a couple variations that we can scale for it. Specifically, we're gonna scale to a plank get up and get down. Now the wall climb looks like this. You're gonna go over to a wall here and you're going to start in a push-up position. You push yourself up, walk your feet all the way in till your chest hits the wall, and then come back down. Now, different variations of this, you can kind of scale to going just as far as you feel comfortable. So just walking your feet up the wall, go hands on a little bit and then walk back down. Obviously stay within your boundaries and always be expanding those boundaries, but go where you feel comfortable. The other thing we can scale for this is a plank get up, get down. And that's basically in this plank position, you drop down into your forearms and then push back up into this plank. Now you wanna stay rigid throughout the body as you do this, but this is the plank get up, get down. And so going down onto the forearms and then coming back up, that counts as one. You can also do this on your knees, as Cheryl's showing here, plank get up, get down, and the idea is to just kind of struggle through that bad boy there. All right, this is the ToesToBar and a couple scales for it. First, ToesToBar is basically exactly as it sounds, touching your toes to the bar. Bink, and there's a bar just out of frame there. Your toes wanna physically touch the bar, not come close to it. There's kipping versions of ToesToBar where you use that swing to do it. There's a strict ToesToBar where you just bring your feet up and then lower it down nice and slow. And a variation of this that you can do is a knees up. So if she jumps up, basically kind of brings her knees past that angle there and tries to really curl back the same way you would in the ToesToBar, but just doing your knees up versus the toes up. That's a ToesToBar. We can also scale down to a V up. A V up is where you lie on the ground and you do a V. So you basically start with your hands on the ground, come up and touch your body together where hands touch the feet. Now you can make this a shorter range of motion by touching a little bit further down, like a V up to the shin. And then we can also change that to a hands to feet. Hands to feet is basically you lie against the wall and your feet are held up for you by the wall and you do a similar range of motion. So you put your butt about a foot away from the wall, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, just figure it out for yourself, what feels good, and then you sit up and touch your toes or as close to them as you can. that is our ToesToBar and its various scales. So this is our handstand push-up and the various scales. We've got a handstand push-up, which is a strict handstand push-up where you kick up, you go all the way down, touch your head to the ground, then lock back out. A kipping handstand push-up where you do the same thing, but you use the hips and legs to drive you up out of the bottom. Little variation with that, or a little caution with that, is if you're doing that, stay really rigid through the neck and only do that if it's a truly appropriate movement for you. We can scale this back to a box handstand push-up, so you can put yourself up into a pike on the box, so knees on a box or a bench, or feet on a box or a bench. Get as vertical as you can, go down, touch your head, come back up. You can also do this as just your feet on the ground. So feet up in the air like that, touch, come back up. And you can do any variation of this that you need. That one you can go all the way to your knees and just try to be as upright as possible, mimicking as much of that handstand work as you can. If you have to, you can also do a standing strict press, so having the dumbbells on your shoulder and just pressing those up overhead to mimic a very similar movement there. That is our handstand push-up.